Okay, I believe we're live on YouTube now. Amazing, because I'm not getting an echo. Okay, I believe we're live on YouTube now. No, the echo just came, so close this. Great. I can't see the YouTube because I get the feedback. If I keep it open here, it gives me a feedback. So I closed it, and you guys can follow it there. Let's go. In 1 minute, we'll start the recording, and we'll go. So since we're in YouTube, I'll probably start the recording right now. Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the weekly outlook. Glad to see so many of you here. And please remember, we do a daily webinar now. It's random in terms of time, but the two basic times we have been doing it is either 4 p.m. Moscow or 2 p.m. Moscow. So you can stay focused for those times, and share the link as much as possible so we can get many people in there. Those webinars are actually much more effective than the weekly outlook. So it's amazing that I don't see a lot of people looking at them. Right? They get about 3,000 views, and we have 15,000 people for subscribers, 13,000 subscribers. So it's much better for you to look at those because they're educational. The weekly outlook is not educational. It's just giving you my views of where I think the chart will go in the coming week. The daily one is more educational. They actually show you how structure works to a certain extent, not how to read it, but how it works. So if you want to learn how to read structure, how to do it the way I do, how to see when structure is changing, and how to get in and get out of trade, you will have to take the course that I do. Now, the reason I mentioned course today is because over the weekend, I think from last week, Monday to this week, I've had a really, really huge feedback from traders who want to take the course. And they have no idea. They've been writing me on Facebook, they've been writing me on YouTube, and they're asking where they can get the link for the course. Now, there isn't a link for the course. If you want to know information about the course, just add me to Skype and you will get it. So let me just type here for Skype. MANGAL 457. That's it. Just send that and you will get all the information. So let's not go further into this because the purpose of these webinars is not promotional. So just take that down. And if you're interested, do that. If you're not, keep watching the videos, keep sharing them. They're free and they're there to help you, right? So I hope everybody gets that. Let's go. So let's start. I was on the Euro Yen, and I'll keep it here because this one is interesting. I'll show you what's interesting about this. Let's go back to the daily. I did this, if all of you remember, and we're now in a big sideways move, pretty big sideways move. Remember, we're looking for one more downside. If I go to the weekly so you can see it. On the weekly chart, I'm telling you that there's a possibility we have to make a correction down to the bottom here and then go back up. I want you to look at how this started. See that correction, how it started there with that flat top? Then it dropped, pull back, and drop very far. We are getting a very similar structure here. Very similar in nature, the way this one is looking. If you look at those two, you can literally see it. Draw a line on top there, and you can see the way this was looking pretty flat until they dropped deep and then went back up. So I would not be surprised if this takes off to the downside, come back there, do a drop, and then start going up back again, right? Because we were expecting an upside, just that we want a deep pullback like that. Not a shallow one, but a deep one. If we get a shallow pullback, but it goes more sideways, which means it goes longer term, but like this, well, yes, we're going to continue to go up. So it's either we're going to go long-term sideways or short-term deep and then start going up. Which we're going to get, we're going to see. But you can trade it. And actually, we are enjoying the trading within that sideways move. You're getting a lot of interesting trades within that little move at the side there. So I was showing you a trade that we took actually to the downside. That was a good sell if you took it. And then if you look at the structure within, it's a mess, right? Don't try to figure it out. We figured it out pretty clear, at least to an extent of what we think it was going to do. And once we got this low and this correction, we decided there's a good chance we're coming back to the top here. So most of my traders bought that, including me, and I closed it. I actually took it live in front of them so that they can take the trade. And since I was traveling, we took it, I think, on Thursday morning or Wednesday, and I closed it on Thursday because I was traveling. I closed it somewhere to this area here, right? and then it went up more, expected to go more. So the reason I closed it there is because there was a chance it's going to make 1, 2, 3 and come down, and we discussed that. So my traders should have moved their stops, not close it. Now I closed it because I was traveling. If I wasn't traveling, I'd still be in that trade because I really don't get out of trades short term. And what we're going to do is you're going to watch here now for if this makes a correction, a small correction, not a deep one like this, but a small correction. Any correction you get here that gives you a buy setup, look for the next one up. Now, if you're looking, we're looking for this one up there. See, that is what we're looking for. That's the move up you're looking for. So if it makes that move good, if they start to reverse, traders who are in the trade should move your stops, because if they start to reverse, here is a point from where they can start to reverse. So if they reverse, we will get a sell setup somewhere here, and we will sell. If they give you a buy setup, which means a flag, a small correction, you buy it. Which one is going to be? I don't know, because both are possible. It's possible they come here, and I don't think that will break out. I think we will retest the lows again before they go. Like I said, it's going to either be long-term sideways, or it's going to make a deep drop and then go back up. It's still in the correction. Which form that correction will take, we'll see. You just manage as it goes. You take step by step because you don't know what pattern it's going to make. But as it's making that pattern, you can tell what the next piece is going to be. That is why we know this was a buy. We know this was a buy, if you remember the last time. This was a buy here, right? If you move your stops, you got out there. This is a buy. This could go back down, and this might even go much farther down. So just be careful. You just got to move your stops, take profit. That's a lot of profit. Let's go to the dollar index now. Let's start. Dollar index. Like I said, I think in the daily webinar as well, I showed this as an update. Somebody asked, and I showed the update. We were expecting that to break. Chances are they could have gone one more up, but once they broke, you're in a sell setup to the downside. So on the 1 hour, you had a lot of sell setups in there, pretty much. Now you want to be careful because now they've broken, they've made a drop. So two things you're going to look for now. Either they give you a correction here again and drop. That's one more short drop like this. You take profit because after that, there's a likelihood you're going to make a deeper correction like that. Either a deep correction or a reversal because we are still in a big daily sideways move. I'm not going to go into details of all the sideways move because then we'll not have enough time. And today I have another appointment around 6:30 local time. So we have exactly about an hour for the webinar. So this made a 1, 2, 3. If you remember what I said at the top there, never buy a moving candles as it's going up. Always wait for it to pull back. So if you waited for a pullback and you were looking for a buy setup, there was one at the bottom there, and you probably get one here, and there's another buy setup here if you're looking at it. On Friday. I think this one was on Friday. Right? So if you look at that and you saw the buy setups, good. If not, no big deal. Wait for it to pull back. Don't buy again at the top here. Wait for it to pull back and then buy. Always wait for the pullback before you go, right? So if you jump in the trades, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Wait for a pullback, then buy. If there's no pullback, there's a chance they can reverse them there. Why we think they can reverse them there? Because we're in a big sideways move. And this might or might not be another impulse to the upside. You get a pullback, you buy. If it's an impulse, it will continue to go. If not, they'll make one more impulse up, give you divergence. You probably close the trade, look for a downside. They can stay in this sideways for a while. Right? Just be aware that that is possible. I think they may retest the top. I have a very strong feeling that it is going to retest the top, and then we'll see what happens from there. So look for buy setups. Let's go to the pound. As we said, it's going to retest the top, right? They test the top once. If you sold it and I sold it, you got break-even trade, which is okay. If you sold this when it made the first stop and you took this trade, for some of you, maybe it's a trade. For me, that was a break-even trade because once they started to do that, I moved to break-even because they can test the top again. This was a buy setup for those who want short-term trade, right? 50 pip, yeah, you can take 50 pips and so, but I'm looking for the longer-term trade to the downside. This was a nice buy setup. There's a good chance that this could go back up again. So if you get another consolidation here, you can go for one more up again. They're going to keep making those little spikes, little spike, and until you get that big fall. Don't miss it. Which means Monday, I'll be looking for a sell setup again. I will get into that sell and put it to break even. Because on the longer term, this is your chart, and this is where we're going to go. We expected them to come up to the top here and turn. Now, when it was the low, I said, watch it. It's going to come to the top and turn. Well, it's at the top. And it hasn't changed the structure, which means if it hasn't changed the structure, my analysis should not change, right? You don't say, okay, I expect it to come here and turn. And when it gets there, you start panicking and said, oh, I think it's going to go up, because we haven't seen any change that says it should go up. Now you should be looking for your sell setup. And this is the trade I don't want to miss. Not catching 10 pips in there or 50 pips in there, catching this one. That's my trade. So I hope I'll get it. I'll be trying to trade this week. I don't know how effective it's going to be because I would be very, very busy. But if I'm around on the computer, I'll try to get that sell. Now, I think they will have probably one more short upside. It's possible that one more short move to the upside, like probably a pullback here. Make one more spike and then come down. So, if you get this spike, let it be a break-even trade. I don't see a sell setup as yet, though, so no need to rush. If they give you a nice 1 hour sideways here, this would be a sell setup and put it to break even, because they can stop here and go back up. But now I think the sell is almost ready. So any sell opportunity you get, don't miss it. Aussie, well, we expected that upside, right? Remember I said when they break out of here, you don't sell immediately because we were anticipating that they're going to go up somewhat. Right? The upside is not a surprise. And I still think there's possible more upside in it. If you can see, we're going sideways. Kind of looking like they're making a flag here, they're making a flag here, so they may still get one more to the upside. Even if they break this structure, it might be a short-term trade. I don't see a big sell setup there as yet, right? You might get one in the lower time frame, but not in this time frame. So right now, you can look for another impulse to the upside. Likely, if they drop through this very sharp, and make a flag, you can take a short sell, short-term sell, take out profit. Pull back, short-term sell. This would be a deeper correction and one more attempt at the top. If it is going to fall and you're in the short-term sell, well, good for you. But there isn't a setup here that says it's going to fall now. I think we need a bigger correction than the daily here before we go down. If this is going to be a downside from this level, you will have to have a much bigger correction than that. That is not enough correction for them to start the downside as yet. So it will have to correct this whole move, which means we'll be looking at something that might come here, come back here, go back there, and then probably look for a downside. Long sideways move in terms of time and price. So I don't think, even if it drops this one more, they'll probably break the low once again and go back up. I think mostly you're looking for upside, so keep your eyes focused on the upside structure. It's making a buy setup. New Zealand, very similar structure. There was a buy setup here for those of you who, once we broke here, we spoke about this going up also on the 4 hour. Remember, we had that divergence and we said you want to get into that buy setup because this one was showing you a buy setup here. On the break of this, you got a buy setup there and you're getting one here. So I would like to see this consolidate some more here and then do that. This would be a better trade, right? So if they consolidate there, at least we're in a big sideways consolidation here now. If I remember, I showed you the correction we're looking for right now should be like this. And this has a big sideways in the middle there. So if they're starting to do that, it will have to be something like this with a sideways move in the middle and then go back up, right? So it's a deeper correction right now. Yen, we have a deep pullback, a much deeper pullback than I thought to do. I thought they would go more sideways, but they have a very deep pullback and they're still actually going down. And I still don't think they're making a bigger B wave as yet. We'll look for that. But if you get a sell setup, take it. Short term, take profit. Take this one, short term, take profit. That was a 1 hour sell setup, I remember. Right? Good. This one here, 1 hour sell setup, take profit. Sell setup, take profit. All the sell setups in here, take profit. Don't keep them because they're not long-term trades. Not until we see a bigger change in the structure. Right now, it's still up. This is still a big up move. CAD, downside. Definitely broke out, give you the downside, and they're giving you some consolidation here. So I think if CAD makes a consolidation in here, you can look for one more down. All right, I think they're going to be more downside here. We're in a big sideways daily, don't forget. And this will have to probably come down some more something like this, and then probably, I think this could be much longer down and longer sideways before we go back up. So you might get a lot of up and down in here, one more test at the top and then downside. So short term, look for a sell setup. I think short term, you're looking for a sell setup, not a buy, right? The sell was actually from here. If any one of you remember when I did the CAD, the sell was actually from here. What happened to my trying to draw this line? And okay, this one, not that one. Here is control. I think you the shift to this one. Yep. So the sell was actually somewhere from there going down. You had another sell here, and you're getting some more, right? So watch it. You can get a sell set up here also. Swiss is going down. I didn't think it was going to go down that much. We were looking for a 1, a 2, and a pullback to this level. So if any one of you took that sell or this sell, you're lucky. But I didn't think they were going to go that deep. So which means we have to relook at the structure, put this here. And it's still a sideways move, just it's a bigger sideways move, right? This is still going sideways, but downwards very fast now. I don't think they're going back down as yet because they're just making a deep correction. Let me just show you that so you can see. All of them has deep corrections. See that deep correction? See that deep corrections? That still continues to the downside. We're making a deep correction. Pull back, drop again, pull back, drop again, look for the upside. So if you take these trades, they're short term, you have to take profit out of them because it's not a trending mode. It's actually a correction to go. This had a deep correction before they go back. See that deep correction? See that deep correction before they drop? Look at these, how much deep corrections you had here, right? Before they go back up. So this is just a pullback right now. I still think we're going up to that direction because we broke out of this trend already and we're heading upwards. So a deep correction, if you trade it to the downside, take profit. Don't keep it because you're going to be upside down on it at some point. Wait for a correction again. Wait for something like this, probably a correction like this. I'll wait for a correction like that and then sell. If it starts a reversal from here, look for a buy setup. You guys know how to do that, right? Look for the sharp impulse, wait for a flag, then buy. XAG, nothing new. XAG is coming down. We expect it to come down. They dropped. We're looking for that break. If any one of you sold it, take profit. It broke. It didn't go very far. I'm still expecting more downside. But right now it's looking like it's going to make a short-term upside. If you're looking at this little piece here, this looks like short-term they can do that. So if you get this buy setup, take it. When it breaks this top, take profit. That might be the first trade. But eventually they will have to come back. If they go to the top there, they'll have to come back and break this low. And then go back up, break that top, and then come back down. So trades you're looking for, maybe first trade you're going to get is to the upside. Get out of it, look for a sell setup, downside, get out of it once it breaks that low, get out, look for buy setups to the upside. All of that could happen this week. They're just going sideways in a big consolidation. Gold, similar, nothing new. Kept going. This was a short drop. There, it looks like they're going to get one more up here again, and we might eventually get this one. Right? Just making the consolidation much bigger. Eventually, they're going to come here, and then I think they'll go back up there before we go down. So we might be in a very, very big sideways move here for a long while. Let's just watch it. Every time you see a setup for a buy or a sell, take it, but take it very short term. Get out with profit. Even if it goes a little more after you got out, it's okay. You don't want to take the risk of holding it because it's not trending anywhere. Euro-Oz. Euro-Oz is a surprise. It's making more surprises, but it has not changed the structure, right? Which means this might still be an A, a B, and a C wave. So as far as we can see, there's still a possibility for this to come back down. That has not changed, although it's looking like it's going sharp. If you look at that structure, it's not doing anything abnormal. We had structures like that. We have behavior patterns like that, where they go up very, very sharp, looks very radical. You get a move here, you get a consolidate, go up very, very sharp, and they come back down because they have to complete a certain pattern, right? You get a big move up, you get a 1, 2, this one broke the top very far, came back down, and then go. So it's not a new pattern in this chart. If you look at it, it's just going, look at these sharp pullback here, all the way back there, right? Came back, pull, came back, came all the way down. You saw this pattern, how it's flat in relationship to this one. They go back up. This is a sharp one. This is a flat one. It's coming back down, right? Now, what's your trade? Short-term upside, wait for a long-term trade. You don't have to sell. If you were selling here, you got out for break even. I remember I said, if you sold there, you should sell it. Every time you get a sell setup, take the trade. I took that trade and I actually got it for a few pips, not just break even, right? So if you take the trade here, it consolidates, it drop here, you move it to break even or whatever, you got out of it, right? So it took off to the upside. That was a little surprise, but it just broke the top again. And I think there's a good chance we still get this deep sideways, right? Because this was a shallow sideways. If this one had come all the way to this level, that would have been a good buy setup. I mean, a longer term buy setup. But it's pretty small, so it's mostly kind of going to give you that deep pullback now, right? I hope I'm not confusing you guys. I'm pretty sure my traders are looking at what I'm saying and said, okay, we got it. But for some traders, this might sound a little difficult, right? That, okay, I can't figure out what he's saying. And as I'm saying that part, I'm pretty sure I had to hold back certain things so that you guys, I can't give you everything. So I pretty much knew I was holding back at something, and I think that might confuse you. There is a way we look at patterns. We read into these waves and we understand what structure we're looking for, right? Now, I can't explain, Julia's smiling. She knows what I'm saying. I can't explain everything to you guys here because it's not that easy, right? And sometimes it might be confusing in the pattern. If you don't get it, don't bother yourself too much. It's not that complicated. It's just you don't know the rules that we're looking at, right? I can show you how to do that. It will take 6 weeks, right? It will take 6 weeks, yes. The new traders also, all the traders from my group pretty much got what I said just now. So what we're looking for is once they break this, you start looking for that deep side. It's going to come, right? All right. You did it in the trading room. Okay, Dijon, well done. See, those are my traders. They were in there without me. I don't have to be there, and they did it. So we're still looking for that because that confirms any up move, that will confirms the up move for us. So I think sorry about that, but as I was saying it, I figure out that a lot of you might not understand what I was saying there just now. So I just had to mention it. You're in New Zealand. And pretty much if you look at my daily webinars, they go like this. They go pretty much like what I'm doing now. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. We're here. Okay, wait for this correction. Go. It might be more detailed in terms of what pattern. I may mention the pattern and I may mention how many waves in the pattern, but it's pretty much the same thing. And my traders know what I'm saying. They have to, because if they don't, I send them to do back the course again, right? They can do that course as much as they want. So they have to do that. So same thing. We were looking for a sell setup here. After the first sell setup, we're looking for this to continue, but then they actually go back up. And we saw that. So I still think this could come back here, make a deep correction here, and then we're going to expect the big impulse up. Right now, that sharp move up does not confuse me. It's not anything new. We're still expect at least a deeper correction before they go. But with a lot of divergence like this, it could mean a much deeper correction than the short one that I have there. So look for sell setups in these pairs. Right? Euro yen, same thing. We got that buy, but move your stops. Don't get too aggressive, because the last time we had a very similar structure and it break to the downside. So if you get a short-term sell setup, take it, put it to break even. Don't keep it, because they can do this and they can go right back up there. If you get another buy setup here, don't miss this, guys. Right? Like if they get a deep pullback like this and you get a buy setup somewhere in here, take it. Or they make a pullback like this and they give you a buy setup here, take that trade. You can take the sell as well. I would go for the sell setup again if I get it, because this structure has two opportunities. I showed it in details at the start. So if you just joined me, rewatch the webinar, you'll see it at the start. Euros cheap. This is one I'm paying very, very keen attention to, because you can see what it's doing at the top there, right? Every time they do start doing something like that at the top here, let me show you this pattern. This is a big one. So this is not an indication of how all will look, but that's a big size. See that sharp move there and that big sideways move doing this? They do come back down. This is exactly what we have in the Euro Oz right now, except for it's smaller. We're getting a similar structure here. See that? Expect this to come back at least to this level and sometime all the way to this level. And if possible, do that. Yes, if possible, retest this low. Not as sharp as I draw it. We're not expecting that to happen, but we can expect it to go like this and then go back up. So remember, the pound Swiss has a big move to the downside. If you look at all the Swiss pairs, I think this week I may go through all the Swiss pairs for you guys. because all the Swiss pairs have potentially big moves to the downside. So keep your focus on them. Watch this one. I'm pretty keen on this one right now. Short term, it's pushing and it's pushing up, and that's okay. Let them keep pushing up in the short term. You can take buy setups if you want. They'll break the top. Maybe go a little. If you get a pullback here, you can buy. I mean, 50, 60 pips, 100 pips is guarantee, right? And then after that, you're going to, look for sell setups. Right? Euro Chief, we anticipated this up move, and this was a buy setup. I think all of you know that because I literally, Eurocat, sorry. All of you know that. We said they have to break this top. This was going up. We wanted them to break the top. They broke the top. Good work. Now, that's what we look. Now we're going to start to look for a retrace back to this level. Right? So start to look for your sell setups. If they keep pulsing a little more, it doesn't matter. Right? It's not a big buy now. It's looking for a sell setup as it gets to that top. So let's see what happens. If you get a flag, you buy 20, 30 pips, move to break even, take profit at 50, 60 pips if they go. Because I don't think this is going to spike up. I think if there's any sharp move coming, it will be towards the downside. Europang, still going up, and I still think it could go some more, at least back to this top. If you're new in the room, I should have asked if anybody is here first time, because then you will be one hell of a lot confused with what I'm doing right now if you're first time in this. By the way, anybody in here for the first time? Give me a yes if you're here for the first time. No first timers. That's not good. You guys should have been sharing the link so that we should have 100 first timers, right? So let's hope next week or Monday when I do the webinar, we get about 20, 30 first timers, right? Try to get the new people in, because it's really, really important that, here's the thing. You are finding this useful. So there are thousands of people there who wouldn't find it useful. They just don't know how to find it, right? So a lot of people come, so they'll watch the recording at least. Watch this. I still think they can make their way up to the top there. Not necessarily, but they can. If you get a sell set up anywhere here, take it, because there's a big move to the downside. So let's go back to the 4 hour. I just want to put those two lines so you can keep an eye on where it's at, right? So there's a good chance this will climb its way up to this level. And if you get buy setups, take it, take profit, take it, take profit. Don't keep it, don't hold it. Once it breaks that top, and if you get any sell setup, don't miss that trade. This could be extremely fast. I don't know what's going to cause it. Don't ask me. Pong goes up or Pong falls, or but Euro fall faster. Whatever is going to cause that move, I don't care. I don't know. But watch it. It's very possible it's going to happen. More upside. This week, probably this whole week, they'll probably go back. But that big move is coming very soon. Pong Oz, still some more up to break the top. They're very close to breaking that top. Remember, if you were following me, I think I did the Pong Oz. We want them to go break that top and then turn, right? So they're about to do that, and there's a correction in here that I think might just finish that move this week. And then we will start to look for long-term trades to the downside. So let's see how far more this could go. Remember, the upside, we don't know where the top is going to be. So take your buys if you get it. You're getting a buy setup here, a possible buy setup. So take it, put it to break even when it comes, and watch it when it breaks the top to take profit. The bigger move is to the downside. I don't see it happening right now, but once they break that top, I'm ready to look for sell setups. Euro is long, Pong is short, and Euro Pong is short. No, Euro Pong is going up right now. Pong is coming down right now, and Euro is in consolidation. Now, that could happen. If Pong makes one impulse to the downside, that could spike the Euro Pong up. Pong goes into consolidation, the Euro falls, Euro Pong starts falling. Right? Clear, Dijan? Make sense? So don't try. A lot of traders I see try to look for those combinations as to which one is. We don't know which one is going to move when. Look at the picture you're trading, short-term, long-term. Once you look at those pictures, you can, if you put the three charts together, it will probably give you a good view. Which one is going to make the short-term spike? But the long-term picture, all three of them is going to go down. Long-term, Euro Pong and Euro Pong will go down. So that tells me in the long term, I think Euro will be the fastest to the downside, right? No, he's not talking about correlation here. He's talking about the possibility of these two currencies to each other, right? Next to each other. It's the Euro and the Pong. So if Pong goes up, what he is saying is correct. I was just explaining to him that he misunderstand the part what I was saying, because Euro Pong still has more upside. Watch that upside in the Euro Pong to break the top and then come down. Euro Pong right now has a sell setup that could form, and Euro might still be in consolidation, right? So if you're going to trade the Euro Pong, you may want to make a chart with those three together, and it will help you. Because if you see a flag on the Euro Pong to the upside, a flag on the Pong to the downside, you know which one will probably move it. If you see a flag of the Euro to the upside and a flag on the Euro Pong to the upside, you probably know which one will move it, right? So it moves by both of them, not one. So, you can look at that. The good weather for me, right? Yeah, it's pretty nice weather. I can tell you, no sneezing, no coughing. It's pretty much clear here. I just needed the heat to help me. It's working amazing. I even forget about that, Yosef. Thank you to remind me about it. Right. Yeah. So where we were, Pong New Zealand upside, some more upside. They came down. I was in the Pong New Zealand sell, got out of it, and it looks like they might want to retest the top again, right? But watch it once they come to this level. Watch it, because it could be the start. Remember, this one doesn't have to go up, but it could go up. So if you're going to be in the buy, just be careful that the buy might be short term, or they may just go to this level and put it in the 1 hour. They may just make one single move more up. This thing could make one single move up to this level and start falling. So if you're going to take the buy, be very careful of it. Or break this top and start falling, because the bigger picture of this is to the downside. Let me just show you that. I want you guys to be very, very careful of any buys on this right now, because you might not have the experience to do it, and you may fall trap, and this happens to a lot of people. You fall trap of a buy there and watch it start coming down. So if you don't have the skill level to move stops to get out for break even, you probably ignore this one. Don't trade the upside. Wait until it starts giving you that downside. Pong Chief. This one looks downside as well. This one, I think, is going down very nicely, and it starts to look like it's going to continue to go down. I want them to make a nice consolidation here, and then I'll be looking for a drop. I don't see a picture of this one looking upside, right? Because they have a sharp move to the downside. You have a sharp move, you're getting a consolidation there, put in a 4 hour. Looks more like a sideways here. This whole piece looks more like a sideways. So I can see this picture downside. If they go up here, they will have to, they'll do something like this. So I don't see a buy setup here. It's a sell setup, and you can keep your eyes on this sell here. It looks like they can spike it up a little, but still look for the sell. Don't try to get in a buy in this one, because it could be dangerous. Pong Yen, kind of going sideways, and they give you a buy setup. I hope all of you saw this, right? Because we were expecting this to go up. The possibility is going out of here, but it came down pretty deep, and they're going back up. So once they get to the top of here, and you get a flat-looking structure, be very much aware of what could happen, right? If they come here and give you a flat-looking structure, you'll have to be very, very, very careful of what could happen here, right? Because it could go back down. But looking at what it's doing right now, you got to move down here. They got to move that went up there, a move that is coming down like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one that goes up like this and then come down, making this a flat structure there before they go down. So potentially you can look for some buy setups here, right? Potentially not the best trade. You can see the way it's going. If you take any trade in it, it has to be short term. You will have to wait for a correction, take it, and take profit. Punkat. I think we might start to see some downside here, right? We got that. We had this. We're going up here, and they kind of go to the top there and start showing you some more downside. So I would be looking for sell setups here to the downside. I think that would be the best thing. I don't see a buy setup on it right now. Aussie, New Zealand, stay out of this for a while, but it's looked more like a consolidation here to go up. But unless it breaks out of the trend line, don't buy it. Wait for a clear breakout, wait for a flag, and then buy. Aussie CAD, You can get a sell setup here, definitely. I think this is going to go more. Long term, there's more downside, so look for sells. Aussie yen, long term, you're going to probably get downside, but I can see them coming up here somewhere. All right, so we'll put it in the 1 hour. Let the consolidation finish. Or if they break, take the sell. I don't think this will break. I think this will probably just come here and go back more up before you get a downside. So, if I don't see a buy setup here, but look more for a sell. If you get the buy setup, which means if they break here but just consolidate, they break this but just consolidate here, well, you will get a buy setup. So right now, it's not clear which side you're going to go. Longer term side is the downside. Aussie Chief, I think this one is much clearer. Broke, you're going down. So if you get any pullback here, take a short-term trade and take profit because they're going to make a deep pullback. See, this is not going down aggressively. They're going to make a deep pullback. Put that back in the 4 hours so you can see it. Okay. They're coming daily to see the structure, so you guys can see the daily structure. The daily structure is coming back to this trend line. They always go back to that trend line if you look at it from the big picture. See? It's coming back to it, but they will definitely make a pullback here and then come a pullback and then come a pullback and then come. So you start to look for a pullback here that might be deep before you go with sell, right? So right now, I think you want to stay out of any short-term sell, wait for a deep pullback or look for buy setups and then look for downside again. New Zealand yen, you're getting a sell setup very soon here. They'll probably pull back somewhere. They'll go up somewhere. And then you're going to look for the downside. It will be just a flat pattern if you look at it carefully, right? It'll be something like that, and then you'll start to look for a sell setup to the downside. So some more upside, probably ignore it, and then you'll look for the sell. Let's go. New Zealand CAD. This one looks more like a little short-term buy here. See this? And then wait for the big fall. Wait for this to happen, right? It's going to go up some more, but the bigger picture is showing you some downside. So take the buy. If you get a 1 hour buy setup there, take that buy and then wait for the sell. You can see you're getting a 1 hour buy setup here. That's a nice trade to the top. How high they will go, I have no idea, but you can take the trade and then wait to see where it's going to go from there. New Zealand Swiss. Look like you're going to get a correction here too. I think you might be more something like this and then downside. So look for a short-term buy setup here. This week, that's all you might get this week. That short-term upside. CAD yen. Stay out of this one. Let's see which one else you should stay out of. CAD Swiss, stay out of this one. It's going to go back up, so stay out of it. Copper. Wait for a pullback and buy. Copper already dropped. It dropped, it's going up. Wait for a pullback and buy, and then wait. Once they break this top, get out of it. If they break the top, let them make a pullback here. Buy, and if they break the top, get out of that. Put it in a 4 hour. Wait for it to pull back. Don't buy into that because it's in a big sideways move. US oil going up, but I want to put this one next to it. It came down not as deep as we expected. Remember, we said we're looking for one of this to come down. I honestly thought they'll make one more here, but they didn't. They just go back. So if you're in buys, move your stop very, very, very tight. Yes, if you're moving, you want to move your stop very, very tight because this one will come back deep, right? It made an up move, but not enough of an up move to continue. I think very soon we will have a very clear picture of a trending mode. I think it is in a trending mode now because the confusing part for us was this pullback here. It didn't fit in the picture, but if we look at it now, we might go with a running flat. We might go with this as a running flat because this is starting to get sharp. It wasn't as sharp, but it's getting sharp. So any pullback here, and you want a deeper pullback, if you're in the trade now, just move your stops and keep it. Because once they start pullback, you want a deeper pullback here to get a bigger trade to the upside. We were looking for a deep pullback to this level, to this trend line to buy, but they actually turned a little earlier. I just see they stopped here and it didn't go as deep as we expected, and they turned. So I'd still expect a pullback here, or maybe even pull back a little deeper and then go. Because now, as they are, you can get some divergence here. That means very soon you will get one of that deep pullback here. You'll always get it, and then you can, that will be a better trade to the upside. UK oil is a good example. See, this one did not break the top as yet. And that means this could give you that deeper pullback, right? Having not breaking the top, there's a good chance they could pull back here and then go. This would be a nice flat pattern. That would be a perfect buy. If this pulls back and then go, that would be a much easier buy setup for you than that. Let's go. Natural gas falling, like we said, it did exactly like we said. You can go back and look at all the webinars. Break this top and then go down, right? Now it's going to break this low and then go up. So if you miss the sell, I don't trade this. Some of my traders trade it, but if you miss the sell, your next big move will come where? When they break this low, your next big move will come to this level, back to testing this top. First, they need to test that top. Now they need to test this top. So they're going to be like 1, 2, 3. And once they break that top, you can look for one more down, breaking the low again, and then going up. All in all, you're going to have is a flat pattern. Pretty easy, right? It's like, that is so easy. Because remember when this was going up, we said, watch it to break that up and come. It's doing exactly what we said it should do. So far, the pattern is playing out perfect, right? Watch it. Keep an eye on this. S&P 500 went up some more, as we expected in the lower time frame. That was a correction, right? It's still pushing, and the more it pushes now, the less power it's getting, right? So you can see they make that pullback. This was a buy setup. This was a buy setup. This is a buy setup. Be careful. Watch it when it comes here. Be careful. Take profit, get out, because this will make a deeper pullback. If it's so easy, why everybody cannot do it? Well, because they don't understand the principles of it, right? So let me finish the webinar, and then I'll tell you a story why it's so easy and why most people can't do it. That's a good question. I'll answer it for you. Let me finish the webinar. So if everybody stick around 4 minutes after the webinar, I'll explain to it, right? I'll tell you the story of the neurosurgeon that I saw, how easy he did the operation, right? So look at this. This is going to give you a move to the downside easily, right? You can see that. So wait for that trade. It's probably will go back and test the top, but you don't want the buy setup in this. If you're going to take the buy, take it and take profit. Right? If you get a buy setup, which means if you get a buy setup that pushes to the top here, take it and take profit because you're looking for one more down. Let's go Nifty. It's pushing up, and if you're going to buy, you had a buy. I think there's a nice flag in here which you can buy to. If you buy it, it's still probably a buy. They'll probably push to break this top. And then you move your stops very, very, very tight, because after that is trouble. This thing could fall real hard. How high it's going to go, we don't know. You can't forecast where the top will be. But once it breaks the previous top, it completes a certain pattern, which means any time after that is a falling. So keep your trade, move your stops, and be ready for a sell. Right? Let's do some Bitcoin, because I think some of these let me put it in a higher time frame, daily. Because there's a lot of people who come here to look at these cryptocurrencies. It's still going up, so if you're at the top there, move your stops to take profit. I didn't think we'll go back to Euro New Zealand. I didn't think we skip it, but we'll go back to it if that's the case. So look at this. No, Euro New Zealand is making a possible downside. We didn't skip it. So watch this here. It's at the top. This is pretty easy. It's at the top. So this is a top. So what that means that when you're at the top, you want to move your stops very tight so you're out of the trade in case something goes wrong. After they make a top, they will always make an attempt to correct again. Right? So you don't want to be trapped when it's falling. You want to be out of it when it's falling. So be careful with that. Okay, this one is likely going to give you one more down. And once it breaks, this structure goes to 15, buy. So I'll show you this and I'll tell you a story. Now, watch this here. Once it comes below out of this structure here, anywhere around 10, 15, you can start buying. Calculator stops at 0. So what that means? That means if you want to risk 5% of your account on this, it means if it goes to 0, your account should be in a 5% drawdown. Not more than that. If you're risking 10%, then a 10% drawdown. Right? When something is at a low, here's a common sense in this thing. When something is at a low, don't try to sell it. I can tell you from that, somebody contact me, you don't have to identify yourself. I'm not using you as an example. I'm using the situation as an example. Somebody contact me who buy a stock which is at a very, very low price. But instead of buying it, he sold it. And the potential of the stock is to take off to the upside, not downside. So if you have a stock, you're looking at a stock and it's coming from $100 all the way to $2. Let's say this was $100 and this was $2 price. Which direction you want this thing to go, or which direction you want to take it? I can see it dropping and there's a tendency for you to think you want to sell it. Well, how far is it going to go if you sell it if it's a $2? Here's a simple question. If it's a $2 and you sell it, how far it's going to go? 0? 0 is where it can go. When it goes to 0, the company collapses, especially if it's a stock, and your money disappears. Right? Because if it goes to 0, that company collapses, you are not going to get any money. That's it. Story finished. But if you buy it, there's a potential for it to come back to 100. So when something is low, Bitcoin is where we're talking about the same technology, and Bitcoin is how much thousand? 8,000, and this one is 15 cents. Where can this go? 0? Just think about it. 0? Well, if it's at 0, you will lose 5% of your account. Excuse me. But what are the potentials of this going to $1 from 15 cents? See? And that's where your profit is. This is just common sense. This is not, forget about the analysis. This is just pure common sense. How you should look at these things. Let's go to SEC. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I don't know where I can mute it there. Oh, I can mute myself here. Hold. Okay, let's go. Look for the downside in this one. So we've got a 1, we've got 1, 2, 3. Sharp move up. 1, 2, look for the 3. And then look for a sharp move up. So potentially downside here. Let's go with this one. It broke out and it took off, well, a little faster than I thought it would take off. I didn't expect them to go that much. So, excuse me, guys. What you're going to do is you're going to wait for it to pull back a little and then look for buy setups. Thank you. Just took a sip, but seems not to be helping. Yeah, my mouth just got dry talking all the time. So watch this. If you get a pullback here, buy, because they can start the climb. I think that's about it for these. What else you guys want to look at? I think that's about it, right? I don't have all of those guys. So, okay, I stopped the recording there because we have too much. So let me answer to the question. You guys, too many charts. We will not make it. So let me answer to the question that the person asked. I think if it's so easy, why most people can't do it? So I'll leave YouTube on so you can hear the answer. Here is a simple thing. I think most of you know that I have a medical background. I was a medical student, 4.5 years. So in the 4th year of medical student, they take you to the hospitals and you can witness, you can witness operations because it was a 6-year medical course. So in your 4th year, you can do that. So in the 4th year, they took us to this hospital and they put us in operation theater because they were doing a neurosurgeon was performing an operation, very interesting one. So they wanted us to see, right? So we were there standing in a corner, not disturbing anybody, and the three doctors were preparing the patient for I thought they were doing the operation, but they were pretty much preparing the patient. And then this guy walking like a star, they got him ready, gloves and everything, and then he took an hour to do the operation, and he walked out and left the three doctors to finish off after him. Just about an hour he did the operation for, and I was like, that's good. This guy's, like just 1 hour he managed to do that very, very complex operation. And I turned to my teacher and I said, wow, that's great. I hope one day I can do that. He said, yeah, very sure, 10 years from now. I was like, what? He said, yeah, you got to finish first, which I didn't manage to finish. You got to finish this first. You got to go do your internship. Then you got to do specialization for 3 years. Then you got to do 4 years practice in that specialization. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll be good enough to do that. But it was pretty easy for that guy. He just took an hour to do it. He did, like automation. He just went in, did it, and that's it, walk out back. Was it an easy operation? Pretty much as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that thing is so easy, I can do it. Nobody will allow me to do it, of course, but it looks so easy the way he's doing it that, hey, I can do that. I just need a little practice more to do it. And that's pretty much how trading is. That's pretty much how everything works. You first have to have the knowledge of what to do when you get there. He knows everything about the brain. He studies it. He took time to spend years studying that. So he knows that. He has the knowledge. And then he practiced to do the operation. He practiced. He was first one of those guys who would sit and prepare the patients before the star comes in and do the operation. And then he becomes the star who does it. So you got to practice a lot. And when you do all of that, then you probably will be qualified to do the operation. Probably will be qualified to do it. So here is the whole deal. You think this thing is difficult? No, it's not. The same thing. I took a lot of years learning this, hours and hours a day, 12 hours a day. I found something that really, really helped me on the way. I'm sharing that with my traders, those who are taking the course. They take 6 weeks practice session. You can talk to them. I mean 6 weeks practicing, which means we give them the knowledge and we said, you practice, you show us how you do it, and we correct what they do. And, it's a long session, and some of them still take 6 months to 7 months to grab the concept and then start trading it actually to make profit. But those who manage to grab the concept, they're stars. We have such students who are amazingly growing faster than even I expected them to grow. Right? Traders who are managing money in the 7 digits already in our group. Just finished the course about 2 years ago, and they're already managing money into the 7 digits. Right? I didn't expect them to grow that fast. They did grow much fast, but that's the whole point. Your ability, your time, how much you're going to put into it, you will have a good outcome. So can you do it? Absolutely. Can any one of you become a neurosurgeon? Sure. You just got to go do that course. You got to go do all that stuff to become it. It's not impossible. We all have the same brain, right? It's not like we're born with a different brain. We're born with the same brain. We just have to put your effort and your time into that, right? If you do, you'll make it. Oh, that's common in our group now. I'm no longer surprised about it. Right now, I'm talking to a whole dozen of investors here who are pretty much impressed by what we do. So, there is capital out there. If you can do it, you can make it. My average percentage is, I think it's above 7% a month, but I promise my investor 5%. So I'm trying not to be too aggressive in my trading. I don't trade a lot. I can trade much more than I trade, but once my percentage is above 5 a month, I'm okay. I don't want to overdo it, and then after the market goes into one quiet time and your investors are not happy with you, right? You have to keep a balance when you're trading people money. Don't get too aggressive. You'll learn that, but make them happy. So my investor is happy, so I'm happy. I don't trade a lot. I can trade much more than that. I quite a lot of trades that I don't take because they're short term as well. Thomas, really? I think Thomas, you need to see one of those advertisements. Go get one of those guys who sit in front of a mansion with a star, with one of those model next to him, and or he in a yacht or something with a Ferrari in front of his house and go buy his course. I think you're more interested in the wrong thing. Thanks, right? The idea of knowledge. Don't look at how much money someone makes. Look at the knowledge. I make a lot of money. I'm pretty happy with what I'm making. But it's the knowledge which I'm sharing with you. Do you see me showing you that I'm sitting in front of a mansion or a Ferrari or anything like that? Those are crazy stuff. Those are catch for illiterate people. I would say people who are ignorant will buy into courses like that. I think you guys are smart, so I wouldn't go to that level with you. Yes, I wouldn't do things like that. I mean, let's talk about knowledge. Let's go the other direction. Leave that for those who want to buy those crazy courses from people, right? It's amazing that that thing still works in a lot of traders, right? This guy, fancy Ferrari, and I'm living in this house, and this is my dream, and I dreamed of this my whole life, and now I'm doing it, and I can make you a millionaire too. I'm saying all of you here can be a millionaire. I'm telling you, all of you here can make $1 million. It's absolutely possible. You just have to have the right conditions to do that, right? If you study hard enough, you will get the right conditions as a trader. If you study hard enough and you can show progress, you can do it. Absolutely. It's not impossible to do. If you think you can do it, then you got to leave this profession. This profession is probably not for you. Why do I prefer to trade for myself and not for a bank? Two reasons. Banks don't actually allow you to trade your own strategy as such. One of the guys who's my closest friend right now in Dubai here, he's also my student, is working for a bank. I don't know if you know that. He's actually the one who is introducing me to a lot of clients out here, right? He works for a bank. And a big bank. He's a trader in a bank, but he actually he's not an analyst like I am. He's just a trader. He trades the bank strategies. Right? That's a different story. Right? The banks don't just, I don't know if they have that position open like a technical strategist in there. If they're paying me good enough, hey, I wouldn't refuse it. Right? I don't know what their strategy is. They don't tell me, and he doesn't tell me. I would not even ask him, because I think that is not, it's not a nice thing to do. I would not put him in that position to choose whether you will tell me or not. I'm smart enough not to do that. They have their strategy, and that's his work, so I wouldn't hinder with his work and ask him to give me information that he shouldn't. You guys, that's common sense. You wouldn't do that if you want to. If you treasure the friendship, you wouldn't do things like that. So I don't know what their strategy. They have but I'm pretty sure they're trading. They have a strategy, right? I don't know if they do wave analysis, but he uses my wave analysis in his strategy that he's trading. That is why he took the course, so that he can use my analysis, right? Why don't I trade my own money? Well, I don't have enough money to make a hedge fund, and my plan is to get enough money to make a hedge fund. So if I'm only basing trading my own money, I wouldn't get very far with that. But if I don't get enough money to make a hedge fund, I'll definitely take my own money to trade. My money will be part of the investment in a hedge fund. I just need to get enough. If you have a couple million, Ahmed, just contact me. I'm here. You know my Skype now, right? By the way, a few people from the YouTube have seen that, and they did contact me. Right now, one guy on LinkedIn contact me to trade for him. What's my goal in the next 10 years? I hope my goal for the next 2 years. I don't have a goal for 10 years. I'm not that ambitious, but I have a goal for 2 years. At least within the next 2 years, get enough funds to open a money management company or a hedge fund. 1 or 2. 10 years, I hope I live that long. I'm just praying to God I could live that long. I don't like to, they said, tell God your plan. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. So I don't want to make him laugh. So I'm not telling him too much. Right? There are investors out there. I met with one guy, and pretty much he saw what I do. He saw the results of what I'm doing, and he's pretty happy. So if I can get a lot more like that, would be okay. US Mexican, okay, you're asking for it a lot. If I start doing charts and everybody else is going to be unhappy with me showing charts. Okay, I think somebody asked me about this already, and I said, look for a sell setup. Was it you? And if was it you, did you sell it? I think last week or during the week, somebody asked me about this, and because I have the line there to show that's the sell setup. Can any one of you remember who did it? Oh, you did, right? So you're in the sell? You're in the sell? Well done. Good. Excellent. That's what we do here, right? You can see I wasn't trading it, and somebody asked, I said, okay, look for a short-term sell setup here. Good trade. See? So it's helping. So, okay, guys, all of you have a wonderful weekend. I would see you on Monday. Monday, I will try. I'm a little busy for these 2 days, but I'll still try to do I'll find an hour to do the daily webinars for you guys. And I will choose this week to do almost all the Swiss pairs. All right, so I'll see all of you. I have an appointment right now. Let me run. You guys take care. You're a great crowd. Don't forget to share the links and invite more people. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.